The Great Glen Way stretches from coast to coast, passing along the Great Glen from Fort William to Inverness, much of it following the Caledonian Canal. It's 79 miles long and starts at the old fort in Fort William and finishes at Inverness Castle. It officially opened in April 2002. Myself and my dog Brora hiked the trail in April 2023, carrying everything we needed for 5 days. Come with us and experience some of the highs and lows along the trail. Oh God. Oh, I'm just having a wee breather here. But I'm knackered. So I'm in Inverness and I'm really green. I've fallen at the last hurdle. Just in case you think this is easy. Come on, Brora. Up this way. Time for another wee rest. Just taking these views. So here is the Eco Cafe, Abriachan Eco Campsite and Cafe. Oh my goodness, this is a feast. I wasn't expecting all this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And look at the size of the big cake. Good morning from Drumnadocket. So we've had breakfast, we've broken camp and we've started on the trail. So we've got about 20 miles to do today to Inverness and there's a lot of road walking to start with. So Brora's on a short lead. But once we get this over with, I think the trail will be quite nice. So we'll bring you back when it gets nice. Oh my goodness, this bit's tough. I'm absolutely knackered. So it's this forest track that just keeps going up and up and up. And we're not at the top yet. It goes up again. Oh, I knew it was going to be steep, but oh god, it's relentless. But we're up pretty high now, so we're going to get a good view of the Loch Ness. hopefully, when we get to the top. But I just have to have a seat and get the weight off my shoulders. It's more uncomfortable carrying the backpack when you're going uphill, and my calves are aching after yesterday. Brora, however, she has got bundles of energy, haven't you? She's getting me all tangled up because she's rubbing her face in all the moss and bracken and everything else. Now you've got yourself tangled. Who's a monkey? Yeah, she's enjoying herself. Me, not so much. I'll bring you back maybe at the top. So just up from where I stopped, there's this lovely wee bit. You can get a view of the loch. There's a wee bench, and I've seen people on other videos camping here. It's a great wee bit for camping, but my god, what a slog to get here. I did think about carrying on to this spot, but there's no way I would have made it yesterday. I did the right thing stopping in Drumnadrochit, even though it was only a 14-mile day. Yesterday it was a hard 14 miles, so yeah, I wouldn't have made it up here. So, not to worry, this would have been nice. Very clean as well, there's no rubbish lying about. No signs of a fire, so that's good. Right, Brora, let's keep going. So, I'm not at the top yet. So I've stopped here for 11sies. It's about 11:15, and I think we're at the highest point. We've come up a forest road, leaving the sort of forest trail, which rose a bit more gradually. And look at the view I've got for my tea break. Look at that. And this nice wee seat here. And I'm glad to get rid of that rucksack. At the moment I think it's going in the bin when I get home, but I'm sure I'll change my mind about that. Yeah, just amazing. Little viewpoint. It's signposted from the main track, which is just up there. Oh, just what I need. A wee break. Lovely. So the uphill went on and on and on a forest track, and eventually we got to a cairn on the right hand side, and I thought, I wonder if that's the top, and it was. So we're basically on the way down, but the views have really opened up. Excuse the power lines there, but over there is Ben Wyvis, and there's some high hills over there. It might be the Vanix, I'm not sure. Definitely Monroe's. It looks like the Vanix. Beautiful. So we've met a few people, and it's a bit disheartening because they've been dropped off halfway up this section and they're walking back this way, so they've got none of the hard climb. They've come from Fort William as well with a guiding company. So the guide's done the right thing, dropping them off midway so they don't have the big climb up from Drumnadrochit, because that was hard. So it's a bit disheartening when you meet them and they tell you that, but not to worry. And they also tell you, oh yes, it goes up a little bit further. Not to worry, we're on the way down now. Just following this track. And I'm going to stop off at the Eco Cafe, which has been recommended by quite a few people, so coffee and cake there, I think. So here is the Eco Cafe, Abriachan Eco Campsite and Cafe. Real tea. Granny Julia's famous lemon cake. 1 kilometre. Okay. We can do a kilometre, can't we? So I've made it to the Eco Cafe and I've ordered a light lunch. That seems to be all that's on the menu. And it's soup, oatcakes, cheese, tomatoes and olives. So I'm not having the olives, I don't like them. And hopefully lemon drizzle cake, which I've been told is really good. But she couldn't tell me how much it was. So I'm a bit suspicious that it might be quite expensive. Because since that's all that's on the menu, surely she knows how much it is. But anyway, not to worry. It'll be good to get some refreshments, and I'm going to have coffee as well. Cool. Oh my goodness, this is a feast. I wasn't expecting all this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. And look at the size of the big cake. I think I might have to take the cake as a takeaway. I don't think I'm going to manage all that, but we'll see how we get on. So that's me had lunch. I couldn't eat it all. Had all the soup, left some cheese, some crackers and the grapes, and I've got the lemon drizzle cake to take away. I'll maybe have a bit on the train. It was a massive bit, so it was £21, and I'm sure the lady knew how much it was, but it probably puts people off, and it is their business, so I didn't mind paying it. It was a big feast for £20. The coffee was delicious, so I'm knackered. She's motivated me though. She said it's all downhill from here. Lovely lady. A lady from Orkney originally, so I got her accent right. And I don't know if that was her husband, but he's nice as well. So it's a good way to make a living. And I've used their compost toilet, so it's all good. It was nice and clean. Right, let's go. Brora got some cheese to keep her energy up. Not that she really needs that, as you can see. So there's loads of hills on show you probably can't see with the GoPro. It's so clear today. But Ben Wyvis is there. I think that's the eastern phalanx there, and you can see Scuremoor. Scuremoor's often called the witch's hat because it's so pointy. So you'll not see it probably. I'll maybe take a photo. But it's there. I don't think you get this view very often. You probably can't see much of this most of the time on this route. But because I've done all the Munros, it's great to sort of pick them out and know where they are. So we're just motoring on this road. Thankfully there's not been many cars. That's only about the third car that's passed. So I think we've got a few miles here. I can basically see the Black Isle over there and some of the towns on the other side of the Moray Firth, is it? Or the Bewley Firth? I always get confused. So I think we might get a view of Inverness once we get past this hilly bit here. But I've had so much much coffee, I'm feeling quite fueled up. And Brora is just, she got through this wee gap of mess. Luckily she's on the lead, although there's no sheep. But she's pretty knackered. But she just keeps going. I think she was glad of the wee rest at the cafe. So we shall keep going. No alternative really. So I think that's Inverness in the distance. Still looks quite a long way away, but we're on this nice path now, and I think it's going to gradually descend, hopefully. We're kind of crossing the moors. Yeah, lovely. The weather's so nice and there's a cool breeze which is really pleasant to walk in, so I'm quite enjoying it. I won't say I'm loving it, it's the backpack's still giving me bother. I don't know if I said already, but the tent's soaking because of condensation, so the tent's quite heavy, but it's mainly my shoulder blades that are sore. There's not much I can do, and I've developed a blister on my left heel, so that's the first trouble I've had with my feet. So luckily it's on the last day, so I've put some plasters on it. Hopefully it'll hold up. I've got flip-flops with me, so I'm going to get to Inverness and put them on. And the plan is, the sun's going to come for me when I get to my local station. Although I can walk, he's offered to come for me, so that's good. Don't all have missed him. And that gorse is just beautiful. It's a lovely time of year to do the Great Glen Way, April, because there's no midges, and it seems a bit quieter. The busiest place was Port Augustus, it was just heaving. But yeah, I've been so lucky with this weather. I think it's to be nice tomorrow as well, so I'll get the tent up in the garden and dried off. So I'm in Inverness and I'm really green. I have shedded here actually because they're building lots of new houses and the signs for the Great Glen Way just disappear. So I just spoke to a guy who gave me directions, so I've got to walk all the way back from where I came from, because apparently you go down the back of a building and onto the golf course. Oh, I think after walking about 20 miles and not getting lost the whole way, I've fallen at the last hurdle, but I think I'm just tired and a bit emotional, but I'll get there. So apparently it's just down here, past the old hospital, which I'm guessing is that. And then down the back of the council building. But the Great Glen Way people need to get their signage sorted out. Hopefully I'll make it to the castle. Oh, it's about 5 o'clock. I had to ask someone else. But I'm back on the path. It's so confusing here. Not far to go. So, I lost my walking poles. I've now found them. I came in here for a pee in the woods when I was lost. Put my walking poles down. Didn't realise I'd lost them. until about 1.5 miles down the path. So I've walked away back up the hill to get them. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping nothing else goes wrong. Basically I got into Inverness at 5 o'clock. It's now 6:10 and I've made no progress because I got lost. I had to ask 2 people for directions. The second guy was really helpful, showed me exactly where to go. I phoned my daughter and forgot I'd left my poles. So they're in the woods here when I went for a pee, and I found them. If they weren't £80 a pair, I would have left them. Right, poor Brora is just about sleeping. So we've probably now walked about 22 miles and we're not even at the castle yet. Just shows you how things can go wrong at the end. I'm still smiling, just. So I know where I'm going and we're going to head back down. After finding my poles and leaving the woodland, I was on a mission to get to Inverness Castle and the official finish point of the Great Glen Way. I didn't film much and it took us around an hour to reach the castle. We made it to the station with just under an hour to spare until the last train at 20:23. Poor Brora was absolutely knackered and she had dinner at the station. My phone stats revealed we'd walked 24 miles, an extra 4 miles. We got home at midnight and I'll tell you, my bed never felt so good. So hello, I'm obviously not on the Great Glen Way anymore. I'm back at home and this is 5 days after I got back from the Great Glen Way, and Brora and I have fully recovered. She recovered much quicker than me. It took me a couple of days for my hips and legs to be back to normal, but I've still got tender bits on my collarbones from the rucksack. So it was a challenge for me, the Great Glen Way, and it was really to do with the heavy rucksack. And the reason I chose to take all the food for Brora and I on the trail is that there's no guarantee that you're going to get into shops or pubs or restaurants or cafes with a dog. And I think a lesson learned was 2 of the possibilities where I might have eaten, the Invergarry Hotel and the Eagle Barge at Lagan, were both closed. The Eagle Barge is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and I don't know why Invergarry Hotel was closed, but they had bollards right across the car park. So I think at the current climate, I think it's really hard for places like that to get staff. So it's difficult to rely on eating out. I did find a dog-friendly pub in Fort Augustus, the Lock Inn, which was great. And the Abriachan Eco Cafe was also dog-friendly, so that was really good. So I decided to carry all Brora's food and my food, and that weighed about 3.8 kilos. And, excuse me, it should have been, as the days went on the trail, the 5 days, the rucksack should have got lighter and lighter. But because of the last 2 mornings, the tent having a lot of condensation, that didn't really work out. So it was a challenge, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's probably my favourite long distance trail I've done so far, and I've done quite a few. One of the other challenges on the trail with a dog is that public transport, once you're on the trail, isn't really an option. CityLink buses do a great service, and they run regularly from Fort William to Inverness and back. They also do the route from Fort William to Skye, but unfortunately they don't allow dogs. And I emailed them to double check because I thought that seemed strange, but no, there was a definite reply to say we don't allow dogs unless it's a very small dog in a dog carrier, which is not Brora. So if you have to pull out of the trail because of injuring yourself or the dog, then that could be an issue. So I had my son all prepped, ready to come for me in case that happened. But thankfully it didn't. But that's some of the reasons why I decided to take the food with me. So I've previously done a video on what's in my hiking rucksack for wild camping, so I'm not going to do that again. But I just showed you the additional things that I took for Brora on the trail, and I used all of them apart from the dog towel. I've got a really lightweight dog towel, and because the weather was dry, it was really nice weather, I didn't use it. But if the dog was wet, the last thing you want is a sopping wet dog going in your tent. So I'd probably take it again, even though I didn't need it. So I'll just go through some of the things I took with Brora, which shouldn't take too long. So Brora had her own bowl, and this is just a Sea Summit collapsible bowl, which is really lightweight. So I used that for her food and her water, and that did the job. Put bags. This is just a little put bag holder that I use every day, and that clip's lost its clip actually. It must have fallen off, but it normally clips onto my rucksack. I took some spare put bags, which I didn't actually need, but always good to have. Obviously her dog towel. I took her favourite cuddly toy. She goes to bed with this every night. So Piggy did the Great Glen Way, but in my rucksack. But for me, that was an important thing to take. She didn't actually chew on this at all, but I certainly didn't want her chewing the sleeping bag or chewing anything else in the tent. So I took this acrylic chew, which doesn't weigh much, but she didn't actually use it. A wee blanket, a wee dog blanket, which is really lightweight. This was useful because, I'll show you the sleeping bag, but she slept on the sleeping bag, but she wouldn't let me put the top part of the sleeping bag over her. So it was quite cold at night when we were on the trail, and I just put a sweet blanket over her. So that was useful. And the leading harness I used the Rough Wear front range harness, which has got an attachment point here, and it's also got an attachment point under her chest. And this is her usual everyday harness, so we didn't change that, and the matching collar. I think this is called a Rough Wear roamer lead, and it attaches around your waist, which means my hands were free to use my walking poles, and it's got a really good robust clip attachment. And most of the time on the trail, this was clipped onto Brora's head collar. She uses a halty head collar to stop her pulling. So this is the halty head collar that I used for Brora, and the attachment just clips on here to this wee loop under her chin, and this goes onto her collar for security. So this was really good because she has a puller. So I'll just show you the sleeping bag I have for Brora. It's a Rough Wear sleeping bag, and it did have a zip that zipped up and down, but my other dog chewed the zip, so what I did was just got some Velcro, which I think is a much better idea actually, and it Velcros shut, but Brora wasn't overly keen on this flap, so she basically just lay on this bit here with a wee blanket over her. But one of the most important things I did was I just cut a section out of an old roll mat, and this fitted on one of my side pockets, and this fits into the base of the sleeping bag, and I think that really helped keep the cold up on the ground off her. Rough Wear do make one, but it's quite expensive, so this was a much cheaper option, and at least when she was on her sleeping bag she wasn't on the ground. And this rolls up, the sleeping bag rolls up and goes into a stuff sack, its own stuff sack. So I hope you found the information about hiking with dogs useful, especially if you're about to embark on a long distance trail with your dog. But if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. Hopefully this won't be the last long distance trail I'll do with Brora. Really enjoyed it. I think I'll look at cutting down the weight the next time, so probably organising food parcels getting delivered or some other way of transporting the food. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.